Good afternoon. Welcome to the meeting of the Grants to the Voluntary Sector panel being held via Microsoft Teams on Thursday, the 3rd of March 2022. This meeting will be recorded and made available to view via the Council's website, except for discussions involving confidential or exempt items. Therefore, the images and audio of those individuals present and or speaking will be publicly available to all via the recording on the Council's website at www.caerphilly.gov.uk. So, agenda item number 1, to receive apologies for absence. Could the committee clerk?
Yes, Chair, we've received apologies for absence from Councillor Andrews, Councillor Hardacre, Councillor Higgs, Councillor Oliver and Councillor Ridgewell.
Okay, that's great, thank you. So, are there any other apologies? No. So, would the committee clerk take a roll call of attendance?
Yes, members, if you could indicate you're present when I call your name. Councillor Davis.
Present.
Councillor Farina Childs.
Present.
Councillor Gay.
Present.
Councillor Goff.
Present.
Councillor Jeremiah. Councillor Leonard. Councillor Priest. Councillor Roberts. Councillor Taylor.
Present.
And Councillor Zapatinsky.
Present.
Thank you.
Did you have my name? I think I was on mute. I was.
Yeah, I could see you on screen, so I've marked you as present.
All right, fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 2, declarations of interest. Councillors and officers are reminded of their personal responsibility to declare any personal and or prejudicial interest in respect of any items of business on this agenda in accordance with the Local Government Act 2000, Council's Constitution and the Code of Conduct for both councillors and officers. Please use the hands up function to indicate if you have any such declarations. I can't see any hands up. So moving on to agenda item 3, to approve the minutes of the grants to the voluntary sector panel held on the 18th of November 2021. So checking each page for accuracy. Page 1, page 2, page 3. Would anyone like to move and second the minutes?
I'll move them, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Priest. Does anybody want to second that? Okay, shall I second that?
I'll second it.
All right.
Councillor Farina.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so the vote, I believe, has appeared on the screen now for everyone to vote using Microsoft Forms. So can the committee clerk confirm the vote is okay?
Yes, Chair, that's approved by the majority. There's 5 for, 0 against and 1 abstention.
Chair,
I abstained because I missed that meeting.
Sorry, I think there were a few people talking at the same time. I didn't get that.
Councillor Taylor here. Chair, I abstained because I missed that meeting.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Farina, just to make you aware, there's nothing came on my screen, so obviously I would support the
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody else have problems with the voting? Okay, thank you. So moving on to agenda item 4, applications for financial assistance. If I hand over to Vicky Doyle to present the report.
Thank you, Chair. So this is just to inform members of the applications for financial assistance and Welsh Church Act funds that were received and approved between the 1st of October 2021 and the 31st of January 2022. So moving down the report, item number 5, which outlines the budget available for 21-22. So the total budget available at the start of the year was 188,160. Discretionary relief estimated at the 1st of April 2021 was 194,757, which means that there's a sort of potential overspend of 6,597. However, they are carry forward balances of from previous years of 137,206, which leaves an available budget of 130,608. At the last meeting, I reported that grants to the amount of 2,190 had been approved. So the balance remaining was 128,418.23. Moving on down the report, so under 513, you can see that between the 1st of October 2021 and the 31st of January 2022, we received 15 new general criteria awards, and an amount of 2,490 in total has been approved to those projects. So under 513, you can see the list there of the sort of awards that have been made. I think what's nice to see is that we're now starting to getting quite a number of applications from individuals where they are representing their sport, either home or away. So obviously sporting competitions are starting to resume, and then moving on down, we've got a number from organisations as well. So 5.1.4, after these amounts have been taken into account, there's a balance of 125,928.23. And anything that's obviously exceeds the allocation, it is funded from brought forward balances. So moving on to, should I stop there if there's any questions or
Sorry, I was just going to say Councillor Goff has his hand up.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chair. Vicky, can I just seek clarity? You've seen the emails from a certain friend of mine going back and forth about certain grants. Can I be clear that you will not report a grant to the committee until it's gone through the screening process and that it's acceptable, or that you've made the decision to decline it? That's right, isn't it?
That's correct. So the only ones that get reported are the ones that have been approved under the agreed process. So anything that is not has not been supported, it won't be reported because obviously it's not a decision that's been reported.
Thanks, Vicky. That's brilliant.
Happy for me to move on?
Yeah, I don't have any other hands up. Thank you.
Back to the report, item 5.2, which is the Welsh Church Acts Fund. At the start of the year, we had an allocation of 63,840 from Monmouthshire County Council, which is our annual allocation. We had carry forward balances of 82,408, and then we had an amount of £10,000 recycled back into the pot in the current year due to 2 projects not progressing. They were reported at the last panel meeting. So the total available budget was 156,248. Up until the last meeting, we'd supported organisations to the value of 30,128, leaving a remaining balance of 126,119.70. So under item 522, between the 1st of October 2021 and the 31st of January 2022, 3 applications were received totaling 14,170, and you can see the table, the list there of the ones that have been approved between that period. So as I said, taking into account though that 10,000 has been recycled back into the pot. After these allocations have been taken into account, there's a balance of £111,949.70 remaining to be allocated in the rest of the year. Any other questions at that stage?
Sorry, Councillor Davis. Sorry, it's not. It's Steve Harris. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. It's not a question. It's just another comment really on the question raised by Councillor Goff a few minutes ago. If you go back to the general assistance grants, where organisations apply that don't meet the criteria, you will recall that we do bring them into the panel for you to have your own views really on the application and whether you wish to recommend an award. And then obviously your recommendation is considered by me under my delegated powers. So just wanted to remind you that we do bring through the ones that don't meet the general criteria. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Stephen. Thanks, Chair. Can I just clarify? Yeah, I responded to an email that I copied you into, and then the person come back questioning why the panel hadn't been told that the application had been submitted. Well, he was still trying to resolve issues, so it wouldn't have been. But I know that, like that, I'm going to get another response. That's all. I'm just protecting myself to make sure with this particular person I'm saying the right thing. That's all.
Yeah,
so I'm grateful to you and Vicky.
Yeah, and Councillor Goff, just to be clear on that, when that is a Welsh Church Acts Fund application, isn't it? So
yeah,
where they don't meet the criteria, just to be absolutely clear, they don't get reported to the panel. But you will recall that on the Welsh Church Acts Fund, where we get applications from individuals, for example, we do bring those into the panel for consideration.
Yeah.
Councillor Priest, you wanted to ask a question?
Yeah, fine, Chair. Just a quick one. Of course, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that with the 151 officer comes in? Is that the same thing when you make a decision?
My role as 151 officer is for you to make appropriate recommendations where the criteria are not met, and then obviously I consider those under delegated powers.
Delegated powers. I thought that's right. Fine. Thanks for that. I just wanted to clarify it. I'd forgotten actually, Steve. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So if there are no further questions, you want to carry on with the remainder of the report?
Yeah, so just under 5.3, obviously the report just summarises all the allocations that have been made under the Grants Voluntary Sector and Welsh Church Acts Fund budgets between the 1st of October and the 31st of January. That's it. No further items. We haven't had any applications from exceptional individuals or any applications outside the general criteria for the grants voluntary sector on this occasion. So there's no other items to report or decisions, or recommendations to be made.
Okay, thank you. So the recommendation is on page 5 of the report. Recommendation.
The recommendation, Chair.
Yeah. Second it.
Okay, thank you very much. So, do we need to vote this, or it's just?
Chair, the recommendation.
Sorry, I was just going to say I don't think there's a vote required because you're just noting.
Noting. Okay. Okay, thank you. So, is that it? I believe is that the end of the meeting?
Not quite, Chair. Not quite, Chair, if possible. If I can just ask one or two questions on the general criteria.
Yeah.
Explanation more than anything. I see on clarification on the OAP Association 1 building 300, OAP Association without own building 150. Is that because wherever they are is in one of the members' homes or something like that? And while I'm at that, I just will do the rest. I see further on down in St John's Ambulance, I quite can't get the grips on this where it says or quite a few junior sports club, up to 150, 100, and up after that then over 50, which I presuming I'm wrong on, it could be 51, that would then double up to 200. So what actually is the criteria? Is it a pro rata? Because that seems a bit severe to me, to have a membership up to 50 and only get £100, and you can have a membership of the same sort of organisation at 51, which can have double to 200. Where's the thinking on that, please?
Chair, would you like me to come in?
Yeah, yes, please, Steve.
Yeah, periodically, Councillor Priest, we do look at the criteria and we work with you as a panel. So the current grants are awarded based on criteria that you have agreed previously, albeit that we haven't looked at it for some time now because of the pandemic. We just haven't got around to doing that. But I think, there will be an opportunity post-election when we get the first panel together to have another look at the criteria and just make sure everybody is happy with them at that point in time.
I'm fine, thank you for that, Steve. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Can I just come in and answer Denver's comment regarding the premises thing and pensioner groups? And I think Vicky will confirm this. I think the idea was if a pensioner group actually owned their own building, then they had a higher expectancy of expenditure against repairs and maintenance of the building, as opposed to a group that is renting a room in a building. So that was, I think, the reason for that criteria there.
Yeah, that's correct. So obviously, if you own a building, there are likely to be more overheads, as you say, things like repairs and maintenance, but obviously energy costs and that type of thing. So that's why obviously the organisations that own their own building do get more, a higher level of grant than ones that don't. As you said, if you just paying to rent a room in someone else's building, then that's all you have to worry about. You don't have to worry about any of the things that sort of go on around it.
Thank you. Councillor Priest, you want to ask something else?
Yeah, well, I will say, I will nod my head and say yes, but I just don't agree with that. I think there's more to it that should be looked at there. But as I obviously explained to me by Steve, that can come in next time. I might not even be here, so somebody else can have it. Do you know what I mean? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, are there any further questions from anyone? No? So I think if there's nothing else, we can close the meeting and stop the recording.